Weren't we supposed to get the October surprise last night with that whole Epstein-Trump model thing? But
I heard there was a leaked tape that was coming out too that never leaked. Like apparently Trump joked to minor or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Which that kind of feels like rat f***ing to me. Like a conservative is putting that out there to see if liberals take the bait. And if it's fake, then they can prove to liberals that these other stories aren't actually real. But there's so much, it just feels like scattershot. And it's hard to focus on any one scandal because every single scandal in a vacuum is massive. But when we're talking about Donald Trump, it just feels like it doesn't actually land. Like there was a scandal of the model who accused him of groping her. This was in the 90s, I believe. And this was when he was with Epstein. She thought that they were playing a twisted game. There's, of course, and I'm just TLDRing this, even though it's serious, but I mean, there's a lot. And so there's also John Kelly, Trump's own chief of staff, who said that he praised Hitler and said Hitler did some good things and called him a fascist.
And wants him a team like Hitler's.
Right. He wants.
I mean, he already has his Joseph Goebbels and Stephen Miller, so I don't know what else he needs.
Yeah, it's so much, and I feel like we're at a point where is any of this actually going to move the needle, and that's what makes me sad, because it just feels like the bar is so low. But even something like this, are Trump supporters going to care? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
Also, for those who are like, "Oh my God, Kitty, this is my cat Frankie," and starting with a little bit of sad news. Tomorrow we are putting him down. He is 15 years old, and we don't want him to, go through any more suffering or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was a star. Everyone loved Frankie. Everyone knows him on my Twitch stream. Very much likes to be on camera, like right now. He's a good boy. So, because everyone's like, Kitty. So, this is my baby boy.
I'm sorry, Rebecca. Or Christina, sorry. We usually only have one woman, so I always just say Rebecca by default.
I'm Rebecca for tonight.
You can be the
in your performance reviews, Mike, now that I control the company, we're going to note that.
Okay, sorry.
Listen, it's better me and not Bam, who's HR. So it's better it's me.
To be fair, so we do these like Patreon chats every month, and I've had my friend Leon, who's been doing it for a really long time, and on one day, for whatever reason, my brain was broken, and I called him Elon like twice instead of Leon, and I felt so bad. So, that one's rough. I've made worse fuck ups, but
I'm pretty terrible with names, honestly, like pretty legendarily so. So absolutely no harm done here.
Okay.
Well. I mean, Dan got to know my name by the time he came down for my birthday last year, so that was good.
I figured that out. Yes, because it's Christina. There's like Christina with a K, Christina with a CH. There's a lot of different ways to go around it. But I think we were kind of talking earlier about like, or like even just what you were saying, Mike, that a lot of people have priced in their opinions about Donald Trump, like as far as the electorate goes, and even the non-electorate, people who have decided for whatever reason they're not going to vote or they're going to vote third party. God bless. But they've kind of priced in Donald Trump. And so you've got to wonder, like, because people have made up their minds, when you get new information that's like, hey, yo, even if you've made up your mind right now, like, here's something you should add to the equation. Here's something you should add to the calculus, like that we have a version of Donald Trump basically pulling the Kanye West, I love Hitler thing on so, like, I think that should be a calculus to no matter what you think about Donald Trump. If you like him, if you don't like him. If you don't like him, like I'm sure most of the people watching the show and on the stream are, I'm not sure about their opinions about Donald Trump, but to each his own. But I think that most people would go, oh, let me add this to the Donald Trump is a fascist and doesn't mind being surrounded by fascists and aligning himself with fascist folder that I have, so that when his pundits sort of start to gaslight and say that, oh, he's not a Nazi. All these Democrats who are saying he's Hitler, they're being hyperbolic. All these Democrats like J.D. Vance who are saying that Donald Trump is Hitler, they're being hyperbolic, right? Mm-hmm. It's good for us to yeah, we've already made our decisions about Donald Trump. Yes, this information does not need to be the thing that the light bulb that goes off in your head that Donald Trump is a fascist. We have plenty enough information. But it goes back to this thing happening in 2016 where people were like, beware of the normalization effect of Donald Trump, because we're already here. We've normalized the shit out of Donald Trump to the point where the Mein Kampf things, the Hitler speeches by his bedside table stuff is coming again into the mainstream focus. And like you're saying, it doesn't seem to be affecting the electorate. And I think that says something about the normalization effect that happened in 2016 that was warned about, but we're stuck with.
If he dropped a hard R, would it matter?
No.
I'd vote for him.
Well, I mean, did we learn?
It would.
No, did we learn nothing from the Access Hollywood tape? I mean, we had women with shirts saying, "I want Trump to grab my pussy," for fuck's sake. Like it didn't really matter. It didn't matter. Like seriously, I saw those shirts and I was like, "You people, women are disgusting." First of all, why would you want him to touch you?
Seriously.
Yeah,
like that's what they got out of the Access Hollywood tape.
Yeah, you're totally right. Amongst his base, there's no one who's going to be swayed by, hey, by the way, he's all over the Epstein files. And like, well, yeah, but like, so are a lot of people. But it's like, no, he's really on the Epstein files. He's in the call logs in between people who are being booked for actual like appointments with the child sex trafficking. He's in those kind of like in between phone calls. That's bad. He's campaigning on Epstein's plane right now. That's fucked, right? That's kind of weird, all that kind of shit. But like for MAGA folk, it's just like, whatever. We don't care. Like, they don't care about protecting kids. They don't care about pedophiles. They don't care about any of this shit.
Yeah,
unless they can tie it to a Democrat.
That's true.
Clinton.
That's true.
Like
no,
Clinton.
I saw the tweet after Trump was convicted. Somebody had said, it's so strange that Trump was convicted before any one of Epstein's associates. And I'm like, but we got him, though. We got the first one. I mean, it's just the level of cognitive dissonance is overwhelming. And I am genuinely losing faith in this country because, first and foremost, we have a fascist running for president. And even though we kind of thought, man, he's pretty Hitlerian in his fascism, he's that brand of fascism, now it's more explicit to where it's like, no. I really think Hitler did some good things. That's where we're at. And then you have the base. 47% of Americans think that it would be okay to round up immigrants and place them in militarized camps. There was a poll from PRRI, and 47% of Americans, 79% of Republicans, and I think 22% of Democrats think it's a-okay. So that's where we're at. We have the population hot and bothered at the prospect of an actual Gestapo-like police force going door to door to root out immigrants. We have somebody who's straight up just Hitler too, and it's just a lot of people are just kind of asleep at the wheel. It feels like we're sleepwalking into fascism.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like again, like everyone's like, I'm so concerned about the border. I'm like, you live in Kansas, North Dakota. What you're nowhere near being a border state. What are you talking about?
Right.
You people need a bigger population anyway, so why not?
Well, I think it also shows that, I mean, whether it's been front and center or not, that America actually has always been like this. Like it just hasn't been somebody running for president. It's been, Rush Limbaugh and these different people who were like immensely popular throughout the country. And, I grew up in San Diego and I used to see Confederate flags growing up. It was normal. Like there's always been these type of people, and Donald Trump was the one to like exploit that like deep-seated xenophobia and racism and misogyny that's like it's just never gone away, and really what this country was founded on.
Yeah, that's like to that point, Bam. Like the Republicans, this is well documented throughout history. Everything from the Southern strategy that was tried to be employed to I was reading a book by Matt Grossman and someone else that I based one of my like YouTube video essays off of many years ago, called Asymmetric Politics, which is like this trend that happened in the 1970s and 1980s that was like conservatives realized that liberals, the Democrats, the left of center, are beating them in the educational space. They're beating them in institutions. They have the think tanks. They have all of that stuff. So if you can't beat them, join them. Or if you can't beat them, buy them. And so that's around the time, the 1970s and 1980s, where you start getting these American Legislative Exchange Council, the Heritage Foundation, all these other different like right-wing think tanks. You know, Prager University is kind of from this. It formed a lot later, but it's from this sort of thinking of, if the right wing starts to create institutions of, you know, trust that mirror institutions that already exist, we can just paint the normal, we being the conservatives can paint the normal institutions as being left wing, or, you know, this is where we get far left radical CBS from, of all things, which is like what the right wing is saying right now. But because they've created this entire apparatus of educations, I mean, like universities, you know, like legal councils, to where they can funnel up conservative judges from when they graduate college all the way up to the Supreme Court. This apparatus has been built through billions and billions of dollars of Republican money, and we're seeing the chickens come home to roost. That apparatus now supports all of this racism that exists in the base that might be a little too in the, you know, coffee chat, coffee clutch like circles of, you know, elite academia. Even some of the conservatives might, you know, say it in their hushed tones, but like blush because they're in academic circles. But the base, who will actually give them the electoral college and the popular vote, to whatever extent does exist, power, they love that racism. And the fact that there is now this whole institution that is able to channel that racism through Elon Musk and his billions of dollars in great replacement theory, all that now is coming together to where a race that should not be close for Kamala Harris or any standard Democrat is now incredibly close. And that's the thing that scares me about. Sorry, when I'm one of my standard Power Report long rants, I'm on a panel show. I'm going to try not to do that. But
no, I agree,
yeah.
Dan.
Yeah. And to follow that point as well, is that if we remember back in, I think it was the 2014 midterms, the Republicans lost, and they did like dissecting like what went wrong, and they're like, maybe we are a bit too racist, too, you know, sexist. You know, we had like 2012 Todd Aikens saying, you know, legitimate rape comments. A lot of Republicans were saying weird shit in the 2012 election cycle, and they all got canceled, thankfully. Look at Joe Walsh; she's now on our side.
He's a centrist.
Welcome to the resistance.
But then, you know, Trump came down that escalator. They're like, no, we need to be more like this instead, and make it worse. And it's only gotten worse since then.
Yeah, he's really dragged down the culture, and he made it socially acceptable to come out as a racist. I think that before Trump, they still had those feelings. The base had those feelings. A lot of Americans had those feelings, but they used dog whistles or didn't know how to express themselves in a way that would avoid scrutiny. And now they could just let it all hang out, let their freak flags fly, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And as a result, it's leading to the destruction of society. Like, it feels like the fabric of our society is being torn apart. And sure, you can say it's not just Donald Trump. Late stage capitalism is going to do that. But at the same time, Donald Trump accelerated all of that. And now we've been dealing with him for 10 years. And with each passing year, it seems like his influence only makes things worse, only encourages Americans to be more hateful, more stupid, you know, more bigoted. And yeah, I don't know how to deal with this. Even if Trump loses, and I made this point in my video where I talked about it, what do we do about the 47% of Americans who think that it's okay, or who support rounding up immigrants and putting them in militarized camps? That poll was not worded in a subtle way. It was very blunt, and 47% of the country supports straight up fascism. How do you share a country with those people? They're straight up fascists. They want Hitler-esque policies. I don't know what to do about that. How many people do we know? How many of our neighbors, our family members support that? I mean, I know a lot of my fucking family members probably support that, yeah. And they'd support me being rounded up too as a gay dude. They would love to see that, actually.
Yeah,
so
I want to say,
those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Tree? Tree?
They not like us.
Tree? Tree? You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?